Hello everyone and welcome to Stamper Basics. In this episode, we're going to talk about the stamper and how to use it and how to get the most out of your world so you can achieve unique and amazing results. So, without further ado, let's build worlds together. Let's start off by talking about the project. We are using Gaia Pro 2021 and 2021 for the Unity version, and we're using HDRP. So let's go to Window, Procedural Worlds, Gaia, Show Gaia Manager. I've already imported Gaia Pro 2021 to the project, and then using the Gaia Manager, we go to Setup Project, Render Settings, and here you can change to HDRP. In the Gaia Manager, we also have the Help tab, so if you need support, you can click on Ticketed Support to launch a new support ticket, or you can join our community or go to our tutorials. Now let's talk about the stamper. The Gaia stamper is important because this is how we can preview and create our worlds. You can take the stamper and add height maps to stamp on the terrain and modify the terrain to get all kinds of results. With the new Gaia 2021 and Gaia Pro 2021, we can use the random terrain generator to generate our worlds and then use the Gaia stamper to enhance our worlds. You still have the traditional option, which is using the stamper manual route as well. So let's start off looking at the two options of creating the world. So if we go to Setup tab and we go to Create World, here we can choose our world size. So small is fine, target platform, our target biome, and our workflow. Here we have the manual with stamper, which is the traditional route, or we have the world designer. Now note that this is only available in the Gaia 2021 and Gaia Pro 2021. Let's start off by using the world designer. And let's create world designer. This is going to set up our lighting. So click yes. Here you can see the preview. And now we see a preview of the terrain. We do have a video about using the world designer, so I do recommend that you look that up. Alright, so let's go ahead and randomize all, and let's just try to find something we can work with here. This is using a bunch of stamps to procedurally put all of this together, and then once we hit generate world, this is going to stamp all of those. This looks good. So let's go ahead and generate our world. And now it's going to stamp out the terrain, and the biome is going to texture it for us. Go. All right. Now we have our terrain. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly add in that runtime so we can have some beauty in here. We have our first person camera, and our day is fine. We're going to quick bake our lighting, add our water. So we got clear blue ocean here. We have a bunch of options you can choose from. Underwater effects, Gaia wind, ambient audio, screen shutter, and location manager. Let's click create runtime. This is going to talk about each of those components. Alrighty, and now that we have added our runtime, let's go ahead and modify our terrain and add some unique features and some life to this. We're going to quickly zoom in here. Let's take a quick look. And then we're going to add in our stamper to go ahead and further enhance this. So we're going to go to Advanced tab in the Gaia Manager. Then we're going to go to Gaia Tools. And then here's the stamper. We'll click on this. And now this goes ahead and adds our browser. And then we can close out the Gaia Manager and just use this. Now we can still see a preview of our stamper here. And let's go ahead and find a mountain to stamp. So something like this looks pretty cool. And then let's just go ahead and add that in. So we're going to hit apply, and then we are going to add masks to our stamper. So click the little plus icon there. That adds a new mask, and then we're going to put in a distance mask, and then let's just change this to XZ circle. So you have a couple different options here. You have the square, which if we drag this up, you can see that it's squared. And if we change this to circle, you can see now it goes into a circle here. We're going to want to change the influence from local to global. So that way it automatically adjusts to our terrain. And then let's go ahead and reduce the size of this. So I'm going to hit the R key for resize. And I'm going to drag that center one down. There we go. And then what you can do is you can make your mountains smaller. And it makes the world seem larger. Because you don't want a whole bunch of really large mountains in there. So you can just kind of give a little bit of height to it, but don't go too crazy here. Oh, it's your world, so you make them as big as you want to. We're just gonna drag this in. Maybe right about there. Looks really good. This will be the snowy mountains to the north. All right, give it a little bit of height there. Perfect. Now we could go ahead and adjust the strength transform here. If you right click on the line, you can add multiple keys. And that way we can give ourselves a little bit of value here. So we can drag that in just a bit. You don't want it too much or you start getting some lines right here. Drag that out like that. Now we're just kind of blending this in with the terrain here. Click on that, and then let's go ahead and drag this guy out. Yeah, something like that looks really good. All right. Now we can go ahead and click stamp. Let's go into stamp and texture. Now we would still want to do a retexture. Anytime you modify the terrain here, you would want to open up your biome and click on your texture spawner. And then go ahead and click spawn world. So that way it recalibrates the textures based off of all the good masks and rules for your world. So sweet. We have a mountain here. All right, let's go ahead and let's put a river in here. So I'm going to click back on my stamper. And then let's just go ahead and move this a bit out of the way. There we go. All right, now let's click on stamps. And then let's click on rivers. Now let's take off this mask just so we can see the what it's going to look like here. And let's find a good river stamp for us. That one looks pretty cool. Let's click apply. All right, so we have multiple different types of operations when it comes to the stamper. First one we did with this mountain is we did the raise height. Now, if you click on the operation type and hover over stamping, you can see we have raise height, lower height, blend, so it blends between the existing and the stamp, or mix it, so you can mix the height between the stamp and the world, set height, add, and subtract. This time we're going to click on lower height. We just want to lower the terrain to adjust to our river here. Now it's important when you look at this line right here, this kind of darker blue / purple, this is your sea level here. Now this lighter stuff, this is just showing that we're, going lower than the terrain. And what you start to see here is these kind of line effects here. This is going to create a box shape, so we don't want that. That's why we want to use like a distance mask or a height mask or something like that. In this case, we're going to use a distance mask. There we go. Now, same thing. I want to change the axis to circle. Now, you can use squares. Square is really good for lowering the river down, since you want more circumference here from end to end, whereas circle would cut this off like this. So If you're trying to do rivers, I do recommend that you use square. Alright, so then we have our influence. So we want to change that from local to global because we want to make sure that our, we don't cut into the train here. Alright, but we still need to take care of these edges here. So we want our mass base to go to world. And then again, let's play with that strength transform here. We're gonna right click, add some keys in here. Find a good spot for us. Lowering that down just a bit. You can tell as we move these. Say, let's move this guy up. See how it's moving like that? You can kind of adjust this. Alright, let's add in our distance mass curve. Let's do the same thing. Add some more keys so we can give some more variance here. Now you might need to adjust this enough to where it kind of fits. And you might need to rescale this. So I'm going to hit that R key and rescale. There we go. And again, if you're having some trouble with this, you can always use the different axes here and kind of, get that unique touch there. It looks pretty cool. I'll try to. What we can do here is let's go ahead and stamp this out. It looks really cool. All right. Now let's try to push this down just a bit lower. Or what we can do is now that we got our base started here, we can actually take our brush and go here and lower this even further. Change this back to local here. And again, just kind of playing with these, being a little, get it to your liking here. Stamp that again. There we go. Oh, that's looking nice. Go. World. Yep, world's not going to cut it for us here. So let's just keep pushing that down just a bit. Now that's perfect. Let's go ahead and stamp that. Now it looks pretty cool there. You can do like a little shadow water here. Just along here. Looks really cool actually. You could take Gina, and if you wanted to create like a river through here, and use a Gina spline, and follow this down, and maybe even curve this out just a bit more too. Alright, so made a little river here. We got our mountain off to the north there. It's looking pretty cool. Alright, so now let's explore some other really cool stuff. Now we have effects. So our effects, we have height transform, power of, smooth, pro contrast, pro sharpen ridges, and pro terrances. And we have erosion, which is your hydraulic erosion. The hydraulic erosion is really good for trying to create like volcanoes and stuff. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and make a volcano here. So I'm going to change this back to raise height first. And then let's go ahead and click on our stamps preview. Change this back to mountains. And let's just go ahead and find a stamp that works for us here. Now you could go ahead and go into the Gaia Manager, go to Gaia Tools, and then click on the scanner, and you can go online to find a volcano height map and import that into the Gaia scanner and create your own height map. But we're going to try to use something we have here. So let's say that guy might work. This guy might work here. Yeah, that'll work. All right. So let's use this guy. So same thing. We're going to fit this to our scale here. Maybe we're going to put this volcano right over here on the corner. Yeah, it looks nice. So we have our volcano here. Let's go ahead and just make him fit in here. All right, same thing. Let's go ahead and add our masks. So we have a collision mask, distance mask, grow and shrink, a height mask, image mask, noise mask, slope, smooth, strength transform, grain texture, world biome mask, concave, convex, and hydraulic erosion. So same thing. I'm going to go click on a distance mask. I'm going to change the influence from local to global because we want this to adapt here. And then I'm going to change the axes from square to circle. And look at how nice that just kind of blends in there already. I give it some height here. Then we don't want to go too crazy because we want to show that this world's massive. Just by making these smaller, you can kind of fake the world to be massive here. Yeah, that looks good. All right. I'm going to click on the R key and kind of raise this up a bit because we need some height for our base here. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and click stamp. Stamp this bad boy in. Alrighty, now we're going to click on the stamper and we're going to do some really cool effects with this. So we're going to go erosion and then we're going to go hydraulic erosion here. Alright, you don't want to go too crazy with this, but we have our simulation scale here. So let's just give this some unique like little bumps and stuff. Hydro time delta, maybe just kind of find a sweet spot for us. Perfect. Iterations. Don't want it too crazy here. Something like that will work. Cool. And then let's go ahead and click stamp. All right. Next thing we want to do is actually use our normal Unity terrain tools. So we're going to click on the terrain, click on this little paintbrush here, and go to set height. Now we're just going to get a target. So if you left click and hold shift, you set the target. And then we just need to create ourselves a little bank here. This is for the top of our volcano where the lava would shoot out of. All right, perfect. All right, next thing we're going to want to do is actually paint holes. We're going to paint a hole in here. We leave a little bit of an edge here. All right. Now, if you're in HDRP, you don't actually want to paint holes because paint holes does not work in Unity and HDRP at this time. So what you would actually want to do is lower the terrain right here instead of paint holes. So instead of painting that, we'll just go to raise and lower height. Make sure you turn that brush down. You don't want it too crazy there. And just kind of fit your brush to fit this little hole or what the hole would be. Something like that. Kind of paint down. Just like that. And then it'd still work. You'd still have your lava to kind of lower in and put that in there. Same way. But that is the workaround until holes are fixed in HDRP. All right. So next thing we're going to do is actually smooth this out, right? Because right now we're getting some texture stretching here. That's what's creating this kind of effect here, and you don't really want that because it just kind of looks ugly. So let's go ahead and smooth this out. So we're going to click on our stamper. There's a couple of ways of doing this. You could have used the Unity terrain tools, But if you have like a larger area you don't really want to do that to, you can use the stamper to do this, and we can just click on our operation type, go to effects, and go to smooth. There we go. Again, we're just gonna kind of fit this correctly. We might go ahead and hit some erosion on this again after this is done. Maybe this volcano has been active for a while. There we go. There we go. Now we have that. And again, you could just go ahead and click on this, go to smooth height, maybe turn up the opacity just a bit. You don't want it to go too crazy because you want to still keep the shape here. Kind of get these top edges here. But it got all the stretching out for us. All right. So again, we can go ahead and get some erosion on this. Again, you don't want to go too crazy with this. Just kind of want to give it a little bit of life. And that's, see how that looks. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, we have our volcano. We have our little lake here that we can put some water into it. We have our misty cold mountains up here. We can continue adding some more mountains through here. Again, like always, last thing you want to do is you want to click on your textures. Just go ahead and respawn your textures in. There we go. So look at that. It's perfect. We have no lines. Everything looks great. It looks all natural. This just looks fantastic. And then let's just go ahead and finish this part. We're going to click on our biome. And then let's go ahead and spawn it. And there we go. We've got biome here, and it's looking pretty good. The white plains, this is for HDRP because Unity cannot handle grass in HDRP. So with Gaia Pro 2021, we have the new floor system, so grass actually does work now. And let's go ahead and click on our player. Just make sure he's above ground, he's safe. When we click play, and let's go ahead and click play. Go full screen. It's just gorgeous. So there's the grass from Flora. No more white plains. It looks natural. I just love this grass. Nice vegetation. Got the houses there. This just looks great. You hear the audio from Gaia Pro. Here's our volcano. Maybe right now the volcano is not active. So the trees and stuff are growing around it finally. Scale the volcano. There we go. There's our world. Looks great. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and explore the manual with stamper route. Alright, so let's hit Control G. Open up our Gaia Manager. And we can choose our world size again. So let's go medium, powerful desktop. Oop. Then let's go our target biome, go Alpine. In our workflow, we're going to change from world designer to manual stamper. So same thing, this is creating our terrain for us, and it's going to pop up a preview of our stamper. All right. Now let's go ahead and just find a world we can build off of here. Let's click on planes. Find a good planes we can mess with. Yeah, this one looks great. So there's our preview. And again, if you don't have gizmos enabled and you're not seeing this, that is why. You need to make sure that you have gizmos enabled. Another good thing that I want to point out as soon as we build our terrain, so let's go ahead and click stamp. When you're using the stamper, make sure you click on your terrain, and by default, draw instance should be enabled. If it's not, please make sure that this is enabled, or you might get issues with the stamper. Once you're finished with the stamper and you need this disabled for whatever reason, then you can go ahead and disable it. All right, let's go ahead and create our runtime. So create runtime. It's telling you everything about what we're about to add here. It's going to set up our HDRP lighting for us. Do a quick bake. And perfect. Let's just drag this guy off to the side. We don't need him. And then let's go ahead and click on our stamper. So same process as before. Instead of using the world designer, you can then just use the normal stamper route. So we're going to click on our stamper browser here. And let's go ahead and add some mountains. And let's just find something cool here. Now I want to show you a really cool trick to make some terraces. So we have our mountains here. What I like to do is actually change this from stamping to lower height. And then I'm going to invert the stamp. Now I'm going to click the R key to resize. Make this just a bit lower, like so. And then I'm going to add in a distance mask and set this to circle and this to global. Now we could change this to square, but again, you're going to have these like cut off edges here. So you just want to play with this a bit to kind of, get the effect that you're looking for here. So let's go ahead and stamp this out. Perfect. That looks good. Go ahead and click stamp. All right. Now maybe let's change this to circle and let's lower this a bit more. I don't really want to do that. Let's set this back to local here. Global. Let's set the world to local. Kind of make this bigger. I'll show you guys a really cool little thing you guys can do to your worlds. If you're trying to create some like ancient mines or you can even make a crater impact like this. That would actually be really cool. But we don't want to go too crazy deep here. Just enough here. Go ahead and stamp this out. Nice. All right, we're going to change this from lower height to effects to Terrence's. Again, set this to world. And local, just get a refresh on this. I make this just a bit bigger. You guys a really cool trick with this. Yeah, that's looking really cool. All right, let's go ahead and hit stamp. All right, now we have our appearances here. So we don't want it to look like this because the moment we hit play, I want to show you what it does. Let's go ahead and find our runtime and our player. Click on our FPS controller. He's actually right there, right in the center of that. Let's hit the W key for transform and then hit Control and Shift. That brings up the bound box. And then you can just snap this to the ground to move it and then just pull him up so he doesn't fall through the world. And then let's go ahead and click play. I want to show you guys why you shouldn't just leave it like this. You get these kind of tearing, stretching effects here, and we don't really want that. Looks really ugly. So we're going to use the stamper to kind of clean this up and make it look more natural here. Alright, so then let's click on that stamper. There he is. And let's change the effects back to smooth. Okay. Now we want to be really careful with this because we don't want to take away our Terrences here. We just want to smooth this out. Don't want to take away the full effect here. So if you need to, stamp this out a couple of times, just to give yourself, you know, some marginal room. That way you don't just go too crazy with it. Let's go ahead and stamp this out. This is gonna smooth out our walls here to get that stretching to go away. All right, let's just check. Still a little stretch. We can go a little bit more here, but it's definitely already a ton better. So let's just go just a tidbit more here. Again, this is your world. You kind of do whatever it is you want to it. Play with this vertically. And put this blur radius here. Still want these flatness to it, but all we're doing here is what's happening is that we're kind of smoothing these out to where, yes, you're kind of taking away from the sharpness of it, but it looks way more natural. There we go. Let's take a look here. Yeah, that's so much better. So much better. All right, so same thing. We can just click on the terrain. If you got any little hiccup guys here, we could kind of clear these little guys out. Yeah, there we go. Looking pretty nice there. Maybe get some of those rough spots out. Couple little guys over here. Little mound. Alright. Looks super cool here. So we just made ourselves a little Terrence here. Now, I like these because you can do a lot of really cool stuff with this. You know, we could have a little village inside of here or even inside the walls here. You know, it could be like a ancient village or civilization here. It looks just really cool. So let's go ahead and add some life to this. What else can we do here? Let's Let's click on the stamper. Let's just let's give a mountain over here somewhere. So let's click on stamping, raise height. Maybe add in some hills. It's a little too crazy. We're gonna hit R. We're gonna rescale this down just a bit. There we go. These are hills, not mountains. You do want a little bit of life there, a little bit of height, but you don't want to be way too crazy with this. Same thing, we're going to change this from local to global. And then just give them some height, but just drop them down. We don't want to cover up our little guys, so we're going to move them out of the way. As you guys can see, we're just filling our world with all kinds of, some really cool features and just giving this world some uniqueness to it. Even if you procedurally generate, you still want to add some value to you. You still want to add some life. That's what we're doing. There we go. I love this little part over here. I think that's just so cool. All right, let's go ahead and finish it. Let's click on our biome. And let's go ahead and click on spawn biome. And it's just using biome to spawn our textures and our grass and our trees and our little houses and rocks and audio, visual effects, all that's going on in the background right now. There we go. We even got some little trees and stuff down there. Nice. Let's click on our FPS controller. Make sure that he's above the ground, and he is. Right, let's click play, and let's take a look at our second world here. Alright, maximize. Boy, I don't want to fall down in that hole. Have some houses and stuff over here. This just looks gorgeous. Really pretty. Might keep this and turn this into a level for something. I kind of like this. Really pretty. Alright. Thanks for watching, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below what you guys thought, what you guys want to see next. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Take care.